Yes, I called it genocide.
President Biden now calling Russia's actions in Ukraine a genocide.
The horrible things that the Russians have done in Ukraine. And we're going to only learn more and more about the devastation.
The president telling reporters he stands by his use of the words in this speech from Tuesday.
Your family budget, your ability to fill up your tank, none of it should hinge on whether a dictator declares war and commits genocide in half a world away.
The UN defines genocide as actions taken with the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial or religious group. The use of the word has become a litmus test of Western resolve against Russia because of the weight it carries.
The general public generally views the term genocide as representing the crime of all crimes.
But there is more to it than symbolism.
If there's a genocide, you need to take action to punish it. If there's a threat of genocide, you need to take action to prevent it.
President Biden says it's still up to lawyers to determine if Russia's crimes in Ukraine meet the legal standards of genocide. That international standard would trigger an obligation to intervene, but it's a high bar.
To get to genocide, you have to show that intent, and the fact that not all Ukrainians are being targeted would to some extent belie that intent. On the other hand, we're seeing a lot about the way the Russians are conducting themselves.
The images coming out of Bucha and the areas surrounding Kyiv really have galvanized the international community.
International crime expert Valerie Osterveld says a recent account by a Ukrainian official that 25 women were raped in Bucha, Ukraine, is one potential indication of Russia's genocidal intent.
Being told as they were being raped that they were being raped so they could never have Ukrainian children, that their children would be Russian. And that is a real warning sign of potential genocide.
Unlike President Biden, French President Emmanuel Macron says it's too early to tell if Russian war crimes amount to a genocide.
Je veux essayer au maximum de continuer à pouvoir arrêter cette guerre et à rebâtir la paix. Donc je ne suis pas sûr que l'escalade des mots serve la cause.
In the past, American leaders have often dodged the word because of the legal obligations it triggers.
When the genocide in Rwanda was unfolding, there were many world leaders, including the President of the United States, who did not want to name what was happening in Rwanda as genocide because they feared that they would need to intervene under international law.
Biden's use of the word drew immediate praise from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and his staff.
I'm thankful to your president who recognized the genocide. Thank you.
The White House says the escalated rhetoric does not mean an escalation in U.S. response. But experts tell Newsy that President Biden's choice of words increases pressure on the U.S. and its allies to prevent and document Russian crimes in Ukraine. Ben Chamiso, Newsy.